What's up, y'all? Larissa Shanti here. Thank you so much for coming to check out the channel. Today we're bringing you a nice little fiery 10-minute flow to get you in tune with your core. So today's practice is aimed at beginners, but I'm sure wherever you are in your practice, this will get you fired up, tuned in, and just aware of your amazingly capable and strong core. So if that sounds good to you, let's get down to that mat. Before we get started, just know that today's practice is going to be a little faster paced, so if you're new to the practice, don't worry about it. You can always pause the video and take your time, just figure out what's going on and rejoin us whenever you're ready. With that being said, let's come into our tabletop position. So your hands are underneath your shoulders, your fingers are spread nice and wide, giving a little claw on your mat, a little squish with those fingers, and then your knees are underneath your hips at about hip width distance. Have a look back in between your legs. If you can see your toes, hide your toes with your knees so your toes are in the same line as your knees are. Yeah? Then from this space, slightly tuck the tailbone. Notice as you tuck the tailbone, your lower belly and lower ribs kind of hug in naturally. Try to hug in on that space. Now press through your palms into your mat to lift the heart, and you're spreading your shoulder blades away from each other in opposite directions. Now this is our nice solid tabletop position, so we're not collapsing, right? So we're finding this place of engagement. And then from here, let's just do a few cat-cows just to limber up the spine. So when you're ready, on your inhale, drop the belly, open up the heart, lift the head. On your exhale, tuck the tailbone, round up through the spine, head drops last to look back at those legs. Just do a few at your own pace now, dropping the belly, opening up the heart, lifting the head. And then exhale, rounding. Just tuning into your breath today. Feeling each vertebrae move one at a time. If you want to pause at the top or the bottom, exploring the pose, go for it. Make it your own. And then meet me back in a tabletop. Let's take our left leg out to the side, turn the toes forward, press into that foot, and then press into your right hand. Inhale as you take your left hand to the sky for a little twist. Then take that hand back down, slide the leg back in, extend your other leg, toes forward, pressing through that foot, anchor through the hand. Inhale, take the right arm up to the sky. Exhale as it comes down. Slide the leg back in. Now we're going to tuck our toes. And then we're going to try to hover our knees just barely off of our mats, maybe an inch off of our mats. Again, feel that tailbone tucking under. The lower belly and ribs hugs in, and you're pressing the mat away from you, so you're slightly rounded. And then take a nice big inhale. And exhale. Lower the knees down. Take a break. And you can really easily fire on the core with just these simple movements, yeah? So let's do that again. Tuck your toes, press through the arms, feel that lower rib and belly hug in, hover the knees just an inch off the mat. Don't forget about the breath here, so find that nice steady inhale and slow exhale. And stay here for one more. Inhaling and exhaling. Let the knees come down. All right, now let's take our right arm forward. Extend the left leg back. Toes can stay down at first. Find that same subtle tuck, lower ribs and belly hugs in, then lift the toes. Reach through the fingers, kick through the heel, get nice and long through the body. And then set it back down. Other side, take that left arm forward, right leg back. Toes stay down at first, so you can feel that little core engaging. So lower ribs, belly hugs in, you press through that right hand, tailbone is tucking, Then lift the toes. Reach through the fingers, kick through the heel, and then lower it down. And take a nice big inhale, tuck your toes if they're not already tucked. On your exhale, lift the hips up and back to our first downward dog of the practice. Bend your knees if you like, getting into the hamstrings. And then maybe a little yes, no with the head, getting more into the neck and shoulders. Then find some stillness in your dog. Press through the palms, reaching up through the armpits, lifting up and back with the spine and the hips. Nice and long. Energy down through the back sides of the legs. Then on your inhale, you're going to ripple forward. Send your shoulders over your wrists, finding your plank pose. Now you can stay here or lower the knees. Bring your hips forward. Take an inhale. On your exhale, bend your elbows, scraping them against the ribs to lower the heart all the way to the mat. Untuck your toes. On your inhale, press down through your pubic bone. Peel the heart up, hug the elbows together. Maybe hover the hands here. That way we know we're using our lower back and our core. Exhale, coming back down. Tuck your toes. Press yourself back to a downward dog. On your inhale, take your right leg up behind you into a three-legged dog. Bend that knee. Turn the knee up towards the sky so you're stacking the right hip on top of the left. Now try to look through your left armpit over at that foot so you are squaring your shoulders down to the mat. Now, bring that knee back down, square off the hips. Start to draw the knee forward. It's okay if it lands halfway. You can use your hand to bring it the rest of the way. Find your low runner's lunge here. Take a little bit of a break. Maybe bounce the hips if that feels good, or just remain still. Good. Now walk that foot over to the right side of your mat. Bring your arm onto the inside. Then from here, we're going to slide that foot back about halfway down our mat. Turn the toes out, and then you're turning the back heel down as well. Take your right arm up to the sky so you're in a nice supported side plank. And if this feels good to you and you want a little bit more, maybe slide that leg down into a staggered stance. Keep lifting through the hips. Make sure that there's a nice stacked bone structure here. Then take that hand down, spin over, find your plank. So maybe your plank looks like this, or maybe it looks like this. Either one, totally awesome. Wherever you're at, on your exhale, bend the elbows, lower the heart all the way down, untuck the toes. Inhale, baby cobra, hover the hands. Exhale, back down, tuck the toes, press yourself back to a downward dog. From this space, on your inhale, lift the left leg up. Bend the knee, turn that knee up towards the sky. Look through your right armpit over at those toes, squaring the shoulders down to the mat. Then take that knee back down, squaring up the hips. Send the knee forward as far as it'll go. Maybe it only lands halfway. You can always use the hand. Bring it in between the hands, yeah? Find your low runner's lunge. Maybe a little bouncing of the hips if it feels good. Then walk that foot over to the left side of your mat. Arm comes to the inside. Then start to slide that leg halfway down. Toes turn out. Back heel drops. Inhale, open up the left arm to the sky. Good. Feel free to stay here, or if you want to come into your staggered plank, or maybe your full plank. Wherever you are, just make sure that you're nice and strong through your shoulders. So you can even have the hand a little bit more forward at an angle, if that feels better on your shoulders. And now take the hand down, spin over into your plank. Maybe it's this version, or maybe it's this version. Then on your exhale, bend the elbows, scrape them against the ribs, lower down. Untuck the toes. On your inhale, press through the pubic bone, lift the heart, hover the hands. Exhale, coming back down. Tuck your toes, make your way back to a downward dog. Take a nice big inhale through the nose, And then exhale, let your knees come down to the mat, come to sit onto the heels. We're gonna take our hands behind us, maybe fingers facing, maybe slightly out to the side or behind, whatever feels accessible to you. When you're ready, on your inhale, start to lift your hips up to the sky, drawing your shoulder blades together, lifting the heart, but keep the chin tucked to the chest. So we're just getting a nice stretch in the front side of the body, a bit in the shoulders, a bit in the core, a bit in the hip flexors. Good. Lower it down. Sit back onto the heels. Now take your right hand over to the left knee. Other hand goes behind the body. You can just wrap it behind. Maybe you find the opposite hip, or maybe you need to hold on to the t-shirt. Whatever feels good. Finding the twist there. In your twist, see if you can sit, press your sit bones down, lengthen up through the spine on your inhale. And then on your exhale, maybe twist a little bit deeper, peeling that back shoulder open, looking over the back shoulder if it's accessible on the neck. And gently unravel, take it the other way. So left hand to the right knee, other hand just wraps behind the body. Taking a moment to root down, rise up on the inhale. And then exhale, finding the twist, opening up that back shoulder. And then gently unravel. Come back to your tabletop. Take the knees wide, big toes come together. Sink your hips back. Arms go long to the top of the mat. Head drops down into our wide-legged child's pose. Take a few breaths here. Finding your steady inhale and slow exhale. Feel free to stay here as long as you like. Thank you so much for joining me today. Until next time.